Last week on this show, Gander Mountain's own Mike Scobie took his little brother to Newfoundland to hunt moose and caribou. Being the good sibling he is, Mike let Greg have the first shot at both. On the first even, after all of about 45 minutes, Greg lowered the boom on a 40-inch bull.
150 yards away, and he just parked it, right in his tracks. And it was just an amazing sight, and I was just happy to be part of it, and happy for my brother to have him get his first moose.
That is cool. Thank you.
Good job, my friend.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
The very next day, Greg was lining up his sights on a big woodland caribou.
You got it. Congratulations again, man. That is awesome.
Beautiful animal.
It was special, and it's always good to get those, those firsts of a big game animal that you've always wanted to hunt. But more importantly, it was the time we got to spend together.
Now, Big Brother is going to get his shot at North America's largest game animal.
Okay, I had enough of being brotherly generous. I was ready to get moose hunting my own.
And it's coming up next, right here on Gander Mountains We Live Outdoors with me, Michael Waddell.
Nice. You drilled him. That was awesome.
Land is the easternmost place in North America. It even has its own time zone, which is an hour and a half ahead of New York City. Now, naturally, it was one of the first places on the continent that man lived. Heck, they've got bones here that date back over 9,000 years old. The Vikings even showed up here years before Christopher Columbus. This place is ancient, it's rugged, and it's beautiful. And oh yeah, it's just plain full of wild game.
A lot of rivers and streams here that just are never touched. I mean, that fish die of old age. And I think that's true of the game here too. I mean, there is so much country and so much game. I don't think I've ever hunted in a place that got this much game and this little pressure and the scenic beauty. It's just a splendid hunt.
29 species of marine animals share the waters around Newfoundland, including the largest pod of humpback whales in the world. 35 million seabirds nest here, and there's 200 Atlantic salmon rivers to fish. You got black bear, barren ground caribou, and the only huntable population of woodland caribou roam the interior of the province. About the only animal that didn't live here on the island was the moose. That is, until about 1904.
Again, the moose are not native to Newfoundland. 4 moose, 2 bulls, 2 females were introduced and released at Howley, Newfoundland in 1904, and since then the population has just exploded. The current population is 150,000 moose, the highest density of moose in North America, 3 moose per square mile.
Ray Broughton probably knows more about the moose of Newfoundland than anyone. He's been chasing them for over half a century. His 4 boys all work for the family business. Pete Broughton has been guiding Mike and Greg Scobie for 3 days. Greg's killed a moose and a caribou so far. Now it's Mike's turn, and when we return, we'll see if there's a moose with his name on it. It's the second week of October, and moose are in full rut on the island of Newfoundland.
Keep calling, and get up high on the peaks and keep glassing and, just keep looking and pounding the bush.
Pete Broughton, Mike Scobie, and his brother Greg are pounding the bush, hoping to meet a shooter bull with 2 days left in their trip.
And, I've dreamed about hunting moose my whole life, and I really wanted to shoot a big trophy moose. It just, even comparatively speaking for Newfoundland standards, I mean, you can get a 50 and 60-inch moose up here. They do exist. I think the camp record's 58 inches, so there are some very large moose up here. So we set out, looking at moose and calling and hiking and glassing and just spending as much time as we could. being to hunt with a guy like Pete that really knows this area, knows where the moose are at, and knows how to call. I mean, his calling is first rate, both mouth calling as well as electronic calling. And it seems like every time he calls, a moose comes. He's kind of the Pied Piper of moose.
So we set up on a little spot just to see what this bull will do.
Now this little bull right here, he really ain't in no danger. But if Pete's calling and the moose bomb can bring him in, they could bring in a mature bull along with him.
And this moose, he was a small, immature bull, but it was just the neatest thing I'd ever seen. He just came like he was on a string, just across a bog and up through the timber. There you
go. Just slowly working his way. I mean, we must have played with that bull for a good half hour as he just made his trek through the woods, across some of the tundra.
Next thing you know, I mean, he is right in front of my brother at 10 yards, maybe less. Just a bow hunter's dream, It just makes that whole trip so worthwhile. It's just absolute price of admission is paid in full just by coming here and seeing this firsthand.
There he goes.
There's just no way to put a price tag on a good day in the woods. But like I said earlier, calling in a critter, no matter how big it is, rates right up there at the top.
There's one down there. It's like a bull. We were just about ready to give up for the morning, and we spotted a bull, and that must have been a mile or two away, just coming and coming. So we decided to hunker down and keep calling them. As he was coming, there was a couple of cows, probably halfway between us and him, and of course he met up with those cows and he put the brakes on for our calling. So we sort of figured it was over for us, but we gave it another effort and snuck down to where we figured they were.
He's here somewhere. Never seen him. Yeah, he's down in this bowl somewhere. I'm not sure where at. You see him in the house?
Now anyone who's ever called in a turkey or a deer, or really any animal that tends to its women, knows that if the male finds the real deal, it's all over but the crying.
You're not going to pull him off these two cows. It's just almost physically impossible. And guys that have turkey hunted and elk hunted, they know that. I mean, So we walked down to the bottom, and I hadn't really kind of lost track of where he was at. Some real dense brush, and next thing we know, look up, oh, there he is. He's right there. maybe 100 and some yards away, obscured through brush. You couldn't get a shot at him. And he had these 2 cows with him, and he was a nice, mature, good animal for Newfoundland. I was very, very pleased to even consider him. And as we sat there and looked at him, Pete starts calling him. And
Mike was a little unsure if he wanted to take that bull. I mean, it was really the first day that he was out looking to fill his tag and get his moose. You know, I'm right there, you know, behind my brother, going to watch him take his first moose as well.
he comes all the way back in, and he gets into, 50-ish yards, and he just, I've never had a better opportunity to moose. I said, you know what, we're going to take this moose with us.
Nice shooting. Nice.
He totally
You drilled
dumped
him. You drilled him. That was awesome.
Oh, I cannot
call,
believe
Pete.
that. You guys called him. I cannot believe how much he just worked into that.
That was a beautiful
Holy
piece of shooting.
smokes. Oh, he just faced right up there, too. I mean, he was just sitting there standing. It's like, okay, he's finally clear. I got a good shot here. I mean, after all that, going through that brush, not having shots, and having to come out and just stand there and look at you. Wow.
I didn't think he was going to come out.
Did you see that? He was just dripping. I mean, just sitting there just staring. I mean, he obviously had those cows, and he's rutted up and ready to go.
Yeah. Let's go check him out. It's good.
Well, like all walks in life, hindsight is perfect. If I knew then what I know now.
Shot right now.
As we crest this little rise, you can see the moose on his back, and he's down, and about 200 yards across this big boggy tundra, there is a monster.
Look at that.
Oh my!
You see that bull. Right of us.
The biggest moose we'd seen all week. He was, we're guessing he was in that mid 40-inch class, and well above an average bull moose.
How much game do you got in this place?
Well, a lot of moose here. A lot of moose.
Oh, you're darn bull. There's no that.
You sure put him in a good spot.
What do you think of that?
Nice job, buddy.
God,
Good looking bull.
that is exciting. What an animal.
Nice work.
Thank you, brother.
Awesome looking bull.
It's fantastic. Pete? Well, thank you again. Everybody says
Yes,
it's a
sir.
part of a lifetime, but I think we'd like to come back and
Thanks, Pete.
see if we can't do this once
a pleasure.
again.
Need to do it
Chase
more
that one
often.
that's still running around out here.
Gets a little heart thumping when you call them in like that.
That's exciting. It was really exciting.
Close. This trip is a high percentage option, and there are 3 moose per square mile in Newfoundland. So odds are in your favor. Just contact Outdoor Expeditions and they'll hook you right up. Now, I'll be the first to admit that was exciting right there, but I got one that rivals Mike's moose hunt.